Hey everybody, I am going to take you on a tour of my store pantry or my storeroom, and this is a pantry that is outside of my house. We keep a lock on it ultimately to keep the dogs out. I have grandchildren here, and so if they came over to get gummies out of her or something and maybe left the door open, the dogs would get in. And so a lock keeps the grandkids out. Anyway, I know, weird. Okay, so this is my storeroom. It was completed 4 days ago, and so we started filling it up. I still have some more stuff from the house and a shed I was using as a storeroom for my pantry to unload and bring in here. But I'm going to give you just a kind of a quick overview for anybody that does not want to wait around to look kind of at the itemized items on the shelf. The room is basically a 12 by 12. Couple things I'm particularly excited about in this room is this little item right here. I do a majority of my canning outside. My husband built me an outdoor kitchen, and it has a cook stove, a gas cook stove, and it also has a 3-burner Camp Chef camp stove, and they're 3 burners. And so I have 6 pressure canners, and I have 3 water bath canners, but I can run all 6 of my pressure canners at once. So this is on wheels. It has 4 of my canners and jars that are clean, ready to go, stored in here. And then when I'm ready to can, I just wheel this out to my outdoor kitchen, can away, put everything back when I'm done, wheel it back in here, and I'm ready to go for next time. Anyway, and then also on this wall is my apothecary, basically. So this is my herbs and stuff I use for teas and different things. So again, I think I said it's a 12 by 12 room. We have 2 freezers in it. We have 5 freezers here on our homestead, and 2 of them fit in here. 2 are in my daughter's house, and 1 more is in my house. So heads up for those that are not interested in the next part of the video. This is just where I go through the shelves and tell you, what's on them. TP, everybody loves, everybody needs. This is our chest freezer, and this chest freezer is our chicken, rabbit, a small amount of beef, our frozen vegetables, frozen fruit, and bread. We raise our own rabbits for meat, so I think right now we have about 30 pounds of rabbit in here. We do raise our own chickens, but I also, if I find chicken breast on sale, which I did, I bought 80 pounds of chicken breast for 92 cents a pound at my local cash and carry, and by local I mean 2 hours away. But at that price, it was totally worth it. So I canned half of it, and then the rest went in the freezer. But anyway, that's how we separate things out, is this freezer is for those items I listed. My family knows they can come out here and get those items in this freezer. And this freezer, pretty much, all our freezers stay pretty full. Because if there's room, then I can put more rabbits or chickens in it. This freezer is our pork and dairy freezer. And we butcher 2 of our pigs in November. And so they're in here in their various pieces and parts. I freeze milk. Sometimes when you're baking, you're like, oh, I'm almost out of milk, and I want to make bread tomorrow. So I'll pull some milk out of the freezer instead of running to town. Cheese, we go through a lot of cheese. We go through a lot of butter. And so when I'm at Costco, I buy lots of cheese, throw it in the freezer. Same thing for butter. Butter's the cheapest at Costco. I still remember when Costco butter was $5 for 4 pounds. Now it's not. It's more than that. Anyway, I freeze cream cheese and sour cream also. So this is our pork and dairy freezer. And any of the family can come out and get that. Store my empty boxes for my canning. Makes it easier when you're doing a project. If you have the boxes, when you're done, out at the kitchen, you can load your canned food into the box and carry them like that. I'm sure everybody knows that. don't know if I told you that, and it was just duh for everybody, but sorry. So this is my baking shelf. And so basically, if we use it for baking, and then on the bottom we store water. I have a lot more water poured out here, but that's heavy to carry. And so that's going to take me a while to load up our water. I have plain flour, wheat flour, just extra stuff there. And then again, canning and stuff. And then this is my extra herbs and stuff didn't fit on my rack. I need to buy another Apothecary Rack like that one. I think I can get them all to fit. Top shelf up there is my Thrive Foods and my tea. I am a lover of English breakfast tea, and I think that's the best brand, and I order it from England in bulk, and I have like 4 or 8 packages stuffed back there, and that's a year for me. So Thrive Foods, love their freeze-dried foods. If anybody's looking into getting in freeze-dried foods, I absolutely recommend their products. I am not a seller of Thrive Foods. I have nothing to do with them. You can most definitely find somebody local-ish to you to use as your consultant, and then they ship the foods to you to your house, so you don't have to go anywhere to pick them up or anything. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Next shelf is fats and oils, peanuts. So I keep reading all these things that say peanuts go rancid, don't store them more than 3 months. I think is, maybe somebody posted 6 months. Some of ours back there are old. Like those 2 cans without the labels are 1.5 years old. My husband just opened one of those cans, and I have them at the back. I know everybody's like, you need to do first in, first out. Yes, I do. They're ugly. They're ugly in the back. The labels fell off, and I want to walk into my pretty room and see pretty. And so I hide those in the back, but I do know we pull those first. Anyway, finish your story, Lene. He pulled one of those yesterday, one of the yucky ones that's 1.5 years old, made himself some peanut butter. It tastes just like the new cans of peanuts. So do not fear about storing peanuts and thinking, oh, it's not going to last very long. Next shelf, we have some 7 up there for when we're not feeling good and stomach flu hits. Let's see, condiments back there. You never want to have a hot dog and run out of condiments. We don't eat hot dogs, but okay, hamburgers. Run out of condiments in the mid hamburger making. I have a couple of 5-gallon buckets with gamma lids. I need to put my rice, my sugar, and my flour in. I just haven't done it yet. And again, this room, I don't know if I mentioned it. I think I did probably, is less than a week old. My husband just built it, just completed it. And so I'm putting stuff in here that has been stored in other areas. And those will eventually go in buckets and then snuggle up next to their friend down there that is sugar in that 5-gallon bucket with the gamma lid. I love these. The lid's dirty. I apologize. But these lids, that lid is really dirty. They just unscrew. And then I store my stuff in Mylar bags with... sugar does not get oxygen absorbers. If you are interested in storing sugar long term, you can find YouTube videos on it. Anyway, so there's my canning vinegar and lemon. And then this is just some, obviously it is what it is. Okay. Then we have, stuff up there. All my pastas are there. And this is, and they're all the way in the back, 2 foot deep. This is definitely a year's worth of pasta for us. My goal is to have between our house, my daughter's house, and this room, a year's worth of food for us. And so, that involves buying at sales, stuff we regularly eat. I try not to store anything we don't eat because it's a waste of time, effort, and money. So when pasta goes on sale, I buy it. We eat a lot of Italian food. We cook a lot of Italian food. We cook a lot of Mexican food. So I store ingredients for that kind of stuff. We have lentils, pinto beans. This is the area where I'm going to store... There's a leaf back there. Weird. least it's not a bug. This is where my stew meat goes. And I don't have very much left. We don't eat a lot of stews. We don't eat a lot of stews. We don't. My husband's not a huge fan, but the rest of us are. Anyway, chicken, we eat a lot of chicken. And I have probably the same amount in the house. So there's, let's see, 24, 25, 26, 7 to 8, 9. There's 30 pounds there, and I probably have another 30 pounds in the house. All of this, except for one, is chicken breast, raw packed. It is amazing in chicken enchiladas, chicken salad sandwiches, chicken pot pies, chicken soup, of course, pulled chicken sandwiches. There's a lot you can do with canned chicken. This chicken right here, we primarily eat chicken breast. So it's a waste for the rest of the chicken, right? So I throw the chickens in the roaster with vegetables, whole bunch of water, roast them till the meat falls off the bones, take the meat off the bones, can it up in the broth from the roaster, and then the balance of the broth, once the chicken has been canned up, then goes into chicken broth, of course. Do the same thing for rabbit. Some people can their rabbit whole. I don't. Rabbit has a lot of little bones. It is just so much easier to just throw them in the roaster, make broth at the same time. You're killing 2 birds or 2 rabbits with one. Actually, I do like 5 rabbits at a time in my roaster. It's huge. Pinto beans and pinto beans there. My son-in-law is Hispanic, and he would smirk at me every time I buy a box of Rosarita refried beans. He's like, why don't you just make your own? All right. I started making my own. Put these in a pan, mash them up, heat them up, refried beans. Done. This is chicken leg quarters. Gross. I'll use these every once in a while, but that's not something I'm going to be canning again. We, again, throw the chickens in the roaster, peel the meat off the bones. You're not then canning the skin and the fat. I mean, the taste is fine, but it's just so much fat, and it's like gelatin in there. I don't like messing with it. It's just easier to cook it down and do something else with it. Some more beans. So this is basically my protein section here. Up here is my dried stuff. So I dry a lot of vegetables. I have some frozen in the freezer, but you take up so much less space when you dehydrate them. I dehydrate mushrooms and squash. Those are, of course, cranberries. Next row down, vegetables. So carrots and celery are there, and we go through a lot of canned carrots and canned celery in a year. They are great in all the things chicken goes into. So soups, casseroles, pot pies, spaghetti. Throw a quick spaghetti sauce together using canned celery and canned carrots. Love them. Asparagus, I need to label below. Green beans are labeled. Potatoes, I need to can some more potatoes, but we don't eat a lot of canned potatoes. They're really only good in stews and pot pies and that kind of stuff, personally, is what I think. Green beans. While I love home canned stuff, our garden was crap this year. So I also buy canned food at the store if it's on sale. And then we do a lot of enchiladas, so I make sure I have that. This is my extra canning stuff that I don't use as often, but I want to make sure I have plenty of canning on hand. These are my jams and jellies and syrups, fruit, apple pie filling. Only some of my pickles are out here because we do eat a lot of pickles, so we have a ton of pickles in the house. And by we, I mean my husband and son. I'm not a huge pickle fan. Some more of my herbs and stuff. Chicken broths. I don't know if you saw my other video. I have quite a bit in the house too. And this is my homemade spaghetti sauce. The family loves this. I prefer it fresh, but in a pinch, I will eat it canned. To me, it just, I don't know. It's good, but whatever. Olives, tomato sauce. Again, our garden was not great this year. We had a lot of fires around. our area, and so pretty much the entire year we had no sun. Just fires, 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 fires. So tomatoes didn't do great. I should have made green tomato sauce out of them, and I didn't. That's our bad. We went to Europe instead. So, anyway, then this is where I keep my juices. And then this is my Apothecary Rack. And I still have a rack in the house. And then I want to buy a rack just like this and put it right next to it where that ladder is. And then all of the herbs that are on other shelves will go on there. And so the stuff I use every day, I have a small pint jar full of them. And they're in the house. And then all the overflows out here. So anyway, this is my beautiful storeroom. And I wanted it to kind of look like a store. I think it's awesome. My husband did a beautiful job on the flooring. It's just a lovely room. It makes me smile. My daughter calls it my she shed. And I come out here all the time and just, it's freezing in here. And it's not freezing, it's cold. We're in Northern California. We're not huge fans of cold. And it's like, it keeps 40 degrees out here. And it's should be that way year round. My husband set it up so it should be temperature controlled. Anyway. Enough blathering on. Thank you for watching my video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know.